Okay, something very, very exciting. We have the Cyrus scroll. That's just a copy, but this is a replica copy of the Cyrus scroll. In the book of Ezra, it relates, "Thus says Cyrus, the king of Persia, who is here among you, among the people. God will them, let him go to Jerusalem." This is what we're doing, guys. And build the house of the Lord in Israel. This is what we're doing. We have the Cyrus decree in modern times. Okay, that's Cyrus here, and it's showing. This is not original, but it's showing the resources, livestock, cattle, everything going to Jerusalem for the building of the temple. So Yeshua, Isos Christos, the Lord Jesus Christ, will reign. He will be the king in Jerusalem as a type of Cyrus. Okay, so and again here we have the renewed covenant. They talked about the renewed covenant, and we told you a return to Zion. This is the time that we're living in now, where he's writing a new covenant according to the Cyrus decree. Cyrus decree is after 70 years. So this decree was found in Babylon. This is a copy of it, of the edict, but this is what we're doing.
These are the days of the scriptures being fulfilled. These are the days, guys, we're in them. The days prophesied by Daniel, the days prophesied by Zechariah, the days prophesied by the prophet Haggai. The Cyrus decree to restore and build Jerusalem. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to get right into it, get right into the scriptures. We're going to look at the calendar, and we're going to look at these critical dates coming up. We have Cyrus decree. After this decree, we have 62 weeks. This is going to bring us to the third day of the 12th month. And then after this, we have 7 weeks, which is going to bring us to Passover. Okay? So we're going to get right into these prophets. Our main focus is the book of Ezra. The book of Ezra gives us these dates. So let's get right into it. The first thing we must do is familiarize ourselves with the Cyrus decree. Now you can see we're in the book of Ezra, and the last part of 2 Chronicles, chapter 36, we can see the Cyrus decree. And verse 21 says, "To fulfill the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah, unto the land to enjoy her Sabbath, for as long as she lay desolate, she kept her Sabbath, to fulfill 70 years." Now, if you're interested in those verses, that's in Jeremiah chapter 25 and 29. Now, in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, the word of the Lord spoken by the mouth of Jeremiah might be accomplished. The word stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, and he made a proclamation or decree. Throughout all the kingdoms, thus said Cyrus the Persian, all the kingdoms of the earth that the Lord had made of heaven has given me, has charged me to build him a house in Jerusalem, which is in Judah. Is there any among the people, and his God be with him, and let him go. So this is Cyrus' decree. We have a repeat of the Cyrus decree here in Ezra, chapter 1. Thus says the king of Persia, the God of heaven has given me all the kingdom of the earth, and has charged me to build him a house at Jerusalem. Okay, same thing, to build a house. So what do we have? We have 70 years. Now these 70 years, we see also in Ezra. We're gonna spend some time in Ezra, guys, and we're gonna compare that to Daniel. For example, Daniel also in the first year of Darius. Now, in this, there's a type and shadow of Cyrus and Darius. See how it's the first year? See how Cyrus is the first year? Well, these two are one. And so what Daniel does is, I, Daniel, understood by the books the number of years, which was the word of the Lord by the prophet Jeremiah, which we just read, right? 70 years to accomplish of the desolation of Jerusalem. So Daniel identifies the same verses that Jeremiah spoke, and he's then given the vision and the prophecy. Okay? Then in Daniel chapter 9, verse 23, in the beginning of your supplication, the word of the Lord came forth. Okay, so the decree came when Daniel started praying. When did he start praying? In the first year of Darius. He understood the 70 years. So that was the actual decree. Okay, at the beginning of the supplication. All right, then he hears 70 weeks have been determined. And you shall know understand that from the going forth of the command. What's the command? The Cyrus decree from the command. For the building of Jerusalem until Christ the Prince be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. Then shall return, the street shall be built, and the wall in the time shall be exhausted. Okay, so remember what we're doing is this is Jerusalem. Okay, so what's going on is the building and restoring of Jerusalem. Now you can see here what we have is streets. We've shown you the Cardo, okay? And that's where we're finding the true location of the temple. But let's keep going here in Ezra. Okay, so that's Ezra chapter 1. And then let's go over, there's lots of other things here. We don't have the time to go through all of it, but let's look at here. Chapter 5. Okay, then the prophets, Haggai the prophet, Zechariah, prophesied. Okay, now those prophecies we have as books. So we're going to look at those. But let's continue. And we again have a repeat of this decree. In the first year of Cyrus, the king, Cyrus, made a decree concerning the house of God in Jerusalem, that the house be built, and the place offer sacrifices. Let the foundations thereof be strongly laid. 60 cubits by 60 cubits. Okay? He even gives the measurements. That's Ezra chapter 6. Now, this is the part that we have to pay very, very close attention to. Okay. This is Ezra chapter 6, verse 14. And the elders of the Jews builded, and they prospered through the prophesying of Haggai and Zechariah. Now, before we continue going, let's actually look at the prophecy of Haggai and Zechariah. Okay, here it is. Haggai chapter 2, verse 10. In the 24th day of the 9th month. Okay, in the both or second year of Darius came the word of the Lord by Haggai. Okay, so this is very important for us to understand, because it says, now consider from this day upward, from the 24th day of the 9th month, even from this day, the foundation of the Lord's temple, consider it. Okay, so it's saying consider this day. So this is Haggai. Okay, Haggai chapter 2. And remember, these are the prophecies that we saw in Ezra. All right, now consider from this day upward. Now remember, it said Haggai and Zechariah. Well, Zechariah is just the next book. And in Zechariah, we have another prophecy. Now this prophecy, let's actually look at the date here, because it does give us days, right? Upon the 24th day of the 11th month. Okay, this is just 2 months later. In the second or both year of Darius came the word of the Lord to Zechariah. And then, for time's sake, let's go to where it says 70 years. Okay? And the angel which spoke to me said, O Lord, how long will you not have mercy on Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, against which you have had indignation these 70 years? Sorry, here, what I was just reading is just right here. 70 years. Okay? Now, clearly, what we have here in the prophecy of Zechariah, chapter 1, the Lord is returned to Jerusalem
that my house will be built. Okay? His house will be built. A line shall be stretched over Jerusalem. Then in chapter 2, I lifted up my eyes and looked, behold, a man with a measuring line in his hand. Where do you go? He said, to measure Jerusalem. So Jerusalem will be built. This is what we saw. Okay? And throughout all of Zechariah, this is what it's talking about. Okay? It's talking about the temple. The hands of Zerubbabel have laid the foundation of this house. His hands also shall finish it. And you know the Lord has sent me, who has despised the day of small things. For they shall rejoice when they shall see the plummet in the hand of Zerubbabel. Now, let's look at something else. Guys, what we have here, when we look at all these prophecies, we have two things going on. All right? We have two temples being built. All right? The Lord is going to build his house. But we know the Jews will also build the house. Now we find that in Zechariah chapter 5. I lifted up my eyes and looked, in a flying roll. Or the roll here is a scroll, a Megillah. Okay, a scroll. Like each of the prophets' books was a scroll, a Megillah. And he answered and said to me, what do you see? I see a flying Megillah. The length is 20 cubits. The breadth is 10 cubits. Well, what does this mean? Well, we see actually the same thing in Haggai. Now, in Haggai, what it says a heap of 20, but there shall be 10. All right, well, that's exactly what we saw. We saw a Megillah of 20 cubits and 10. So we have a measure, 20, 10. Okay, and then if we go back to Zechariah 5, get that to where you can see. Okay, we have 20, 10. Okay, now let's go and continue here. All right. And the angel that talked to me went forth. He said, lift up your eyes. What do you see? I said, what is it? This is an ephah. Now, what an ephah is, it's something that you measure grain. Okay, so what this ephah is, it's a measurement of grain. And this is what we saw before. It was heaps. Heaps is wheat. Okay, heaps of 20, heaps of 10. All right, so that's this scroll. And he said, what is their resemblance of the earth? And behold, there lifted up a talent of lead. This is the woman that sits in the midst of the ephah. So we have a woman inside an ephah. And an ephah is a large container for measuring dry grains. Okay? So what this woman is inside the ephah is the leaven. The Lord said, take heed of the leaven. Okay? The woman came and took leaven and put leaven in the grain. Okay, so that's what's going on here. We have this woman with the leaven. And he said, this is wickedness. And he cast her into the ephah. And he cast a lead on the mouth of it. So this is the woman. This is the harlot. Mystery Babylon. Lord said, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees. Right? You can see I have some notes here on this. The ephah is a measure. Leaven. Matthew 13, verse 33. So that's exactly what we have. We have the harlot. Okay? And that's actually, I will read this here, verse 9. And I lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, there came two women, and the wind was in their wings, for they had wings like the wings of a stork. So two women come with wings of a stork. And they lifted up the ephah between heaven and earth. So this container, okay, the woman is inside this container, and they take it away. Then the angel that talked to me said, where are they going with this ephah? And he said to me to build a house in the land of Shinar. Now what Shinar is Babylon. Okay, but look at, to build a house. So they're taking her away to build her a house. okay, in Shinar, in Babylon. Now pay close attention to what it says here. And it shall be established and set there upon her own base. This is it right here. So, right now, this is a base. This is the place that this woman that's in this ephah is building a house. They're going to build a house. They're going to put it on this place. Okay, this is what it's talking about right here. This building a house is the Jews building a temple. And now I've shown you part of it that's underground. Okay, underground in here. But there's another part that to build a house in the land of Babylon. Now, for the early Christians, Babylon was a type of Rome. And what do we have? A Roman fort. Okay? So we have a Roman fort. This is the base. Okay? It shall be established and set there upon her base, her foundation. Okay? Now the Lord said, no stone will be on another. And you can look at these lines. This is the grid. This is east and west. This thing is not aligned properly, but this is. Okay, this cardo, we showed you this cardo, this street shall be built. Okay, so this is the area that we're looking at for the true temple. Okay, now this is fulfilling perfectly what the scriptures are saying. Okay, this woman, wickedness, Mystery Babylon, will build a house on a base. Okay, so that's what we have going on. Now, let's get back to Ezra. Okay, in Ezra, let's remember, we had the prophesying of Haggai. Now, Haggai told us about the 24th day of the 9th month, right? And Zechariah. Zechariah told us about the 70 years, okay, to build the house. So we have two houses being built, right? Now, okay, build it a house and finish it according to the commandment of God of Israel, according to the commandment or decree of Cyrus and Darius, Artaxerxes, king of Persia. And the house was finished in the 3rd day of the month of Adar. Okay, now the 3rd day of the month of Adar. Now, if you look here at my notes, you can see the 24th day of the 9th month. Remember, Haggai said, consider this day upward, 24th day of the 9th month. Okay, if we add 62 weeks from that precise date, we come to the 3rd day of the month of Adar. Now let's look at the calendar and see where that is. Okay, this is right here. Okay, the 12th month. Now remember, it said the 3rd day of the 12th month. Okay, the 3rd day of the 12th month is February 12th. Okay, so consider from this day upward. So the 24th day of the 9th month, that was in the year 2017. So now we're counting 62 weeks. Okay, of course there's 52 weeks in a year, then we have 10 more weeks. So that brings us to the 3rd day of the 12th month. Now, if you're not familiar with Cyrus' decree and where I'm coming up with the 24th day of the 9th month, please watch the video, Cyrus' decree. Okay, time's sake, we're not going to get into that. But essentially, that's Hanukkah. Okay, Hanukkah. So Hanukkah, in fact, I believe it's here. Yeah, it's also here. Okay. And the children of Israel and the priests and the Levites and the rest of the children of the captivity kept the Hanukkah dedication of the house. Okay, so if you go back to the original language, when it says dedication here in English, that's the word Hanukkah. And they offered at the Hanukkah of the house. Okay, so the Hanukkah is actually the 24th day of the 9th month is Hanukkah Eve. The next day is the 25th. So the 24th day of the 9th month, 2017, we count 62 weeks. It brings us right to this verse. Amazing. The house was finished in the 3rd day of the 12th month. So we're watching for something. Maybe something happens, maybe something doesn't. I don't know. But this is what the scriptures is talking about. This day, the 3rd day of the 12th month.
Okay. Then what it says in Daniel, remember it said 7 weeks. Let's go back to Daniel. Verse 25, and you shall know and understand the going forth the commandment, okay, the building of Jerusalem, okay, 7 weeks and 62 weeks. So that's the 62 weeks is right here. 62 weeks from 24th day of the 9th month falls right here. 3rd day of the 12th month, okay? Then if you add another 7 weeks, remember it said 7 weeks, if we add another 7 weeks, it falls right here. Passover. And the children of the captivity kept the Passover upon the 14th day of the 1st month. Okay? The priests and the Levites purified together all them they were pure and killed the Passover. So when is that? The Passover, again, precisely 7 weeks. Now it's the Enoch calendar that you need this. Okay? And I will, for those that are asking about the calendar, I will share the calendar. I needed confirmation. This is my confirmation right here. I needed this confirmation before I submitted the calendar to make sure we're on the prophecy correctly. So when we count another 7 weeks, it's going to bring us to Passover. That's going to be April 2nd. Okay? I'm just going to leave it at that. I will make the calendar available. I will have a video on the calendar, but I'm just showing you the fulfillment of these verses. If we count 62 weeks from the 24th day of the 9th month, we come to the 3rd day of the 12th month of Adar. Okay? Then we count 7 weeks. Okay, from that date, from the 3rd day of 12th month, we add another 7 weeks. We come to Passover. Okay? This is Passover. Now this will go into 2019. Okay, so this is the scriptures being fulfilled, and we need this calendar to find these precise dates. Now you can see on this channel we've been talking so much about the temple. We've been explaining to you that there is a temple that's going to be built. Actually, there's two. So let's just talk about this. So we saw in Zechariah chapter 5 that the woman in the ephah is going to build a house in Shinar. Shinar is Babylon. Babylon is Rome. And we know that the Temple Mount is the base where she's going to put her house. Okay, it's Fort Antonia. So we've been explaining to you the true location of the temple. The reason for that is that we have 2 temples that are going to be built. The Jewish temple is going to be built, but we can see from the prophecies that clearly the temple is going to be built. That's Ezekiel's temple. And we're measuring the line. It says to measure the line, to build the house. And the house is going to be built, but we have to find where it was originally. So we have 3 playlists going on. Measure the temple, the Jewish 3rd temple, and the true temple location. Okay? All this is what's going on, and these prophecies have kind of dual fulfillments. Okay, so last year when we did this, we talked about Cyrus' decree. On the precise date of Hanukkah, Donald Trump announced the moving of the U.S. Embassy. Then we had the temple coin. We told you about the temple coin. Okay, so something may happen. We don't know, but these are prophetic dates. What we have the 3rd day of the 12th month. Then we have Passover. We have these things clearly outlined to us in Daniel and in Ezra. So guys, as I say, please, I'll put the information in the description field. There's a lot of information here. A lot of this may be new to you. I'll have the verses, and I'll also have a calendar. I'll do a whole video on the calendar, but we're building his house. Okay, you can see the street shall be built, the wall, even in troublous times. Okay, so that's what we're doing. We're building his house. He's going to come. Jerusalem is the city of the great king, and he's going to reign. So all glory to his name for this information. These are the days of his return. These are the days prophesied by all the prophets. what an honor to live in these days. So guys, as I say, we're watching. And I say, watch and pray that be accounted worthy to escape all these things in Alpha and Omega's name. Amen.